Wow. Wow. Is this it? Is this it? Is this the sort of thing that gets put on YouTube about anxiety? It's so simplistic, it makes a mockery of anxiety. So let's have a look.
But what exactly are anxiety disorders? These are disorders that share features of excessive fear and anxiety and related behavioral disturbances. Although both fear and anxiety are closely related, fear elicits an immediate fight-or-flight response to a real threat that has already presented itself. For instance, an encounter with a wild animal. In comparison,
If I hear that once more, an encounter with a wild animal, or a snake outside your front door, that's the favourite, isn't it? What you have to understand is there's so many different kinds of anxiety. There's social anxiety, there's general anxiety, there's health anxiety. The list is endless, but no, let's just talk about anxiety in general, and make you feel like if you do A, B, and C, the anxiety will go away. That's a lie. For anyone suffering with anxiety out there, that is a complete lie.
anxiety is more of a hypervigilant state, where an individual is extremely sensitive to detecting potential threats that may never occur. For instance, an individual may be anxious about public speaking because they anticipate that they will embarrass themselves. Like most mental health problems, anxiety disorders appear to be caused by a combination of biological factors, psychological.
No. The only good thing about this is they've mentioned biological factors, yeah? Because for years I've advocated that if, say, your mum or your grandmother or your granddad, or it won't really be your granddad, if anyone it's going to be your grandmother or your mother, because it mainly is women who suffer with anxiety for some strange reason. If any of them have suffered with it, you can guarantee you will. Or it may miss 3 generations. But I do believe it is biologically connected. It isn't something how to put it, it isn't something that you can choose to have or not have. If it's biologically connected, yeah, you'll have it all your life, because what you've got to do is, if you're suffering with any kind of anxiety, and when I say suffering, I don't mean, you've been anxious for about, I don't know, 2 weeks and it's gone away. I'm talking months, years, okay? So if you've been suffering, remember, not 2 weeks, but for months or years, and you've looked back in your family history and you found out that a close female relative also has it, even if it's your auntie on either side, your mother or your father's side, you will have it and it won't go. Yeah, it will not go. You learn to live with it, yeah, and you learn every trick there is going, but it I don't like saying these things, but I'm going to say them. It's sort of unfixable. It's up to you to help yourself and learn to live with it, and if necessary, get medication. Again, I don't advocate this new law of you mustn't take meds, because, well, some people have took meds and they've been great on them, yeah, but it's the anxiety, whichever one you suffer from. And that's also another key. You have to find out which anxiety you suffer from. Not GAD, which is general anxiety disorder. You have to find out if it's social anxiety, if it's health anxiety, if it's just plain old anxiety. Whichever one you suffer from, then you can get the tools to be able to work with it and live with it and deal with it and live a happy life. But until you find out what it is, you can't do that. And there's no amount of medication, and there's no amount of psychologists, counselors, or anything that will help you until you face full on which sort of anxiety you may have. You know, I'm getting a bit fed up of this new wave coming in saying, oh, you've got anxiety, and that's it. They don't say which kind of anxiety. I mean, OCD is a sort of anxiety, yeah. And there's lots of other things that go along with anxiety. For you sufferers, you'll know. But please, if you've only suffered with it for 2 weeks and it's gone away, you're not suffering with anxiety. Yeah? You've had a bout of anxiety over something in your life. Okay? But the worst kind of anxiety is the sort where your life's working fine, everything's great, but you keep getting anxiety over and over, and you don't know why. You'll go to see 1,000,001 psychiatrists, you still won't find the answer. Yeah, you'll maybe get put on medication. It'll help for a while, but it'll come back. You'll get sent to see psychologists, and you still won't get to the root of the matter. You won't understand why you're suffering the way you are, and that is because it's biological. It's a gene that's in you, that's being passed to you, and there doesn't have to be any big dramas in your life for you to suffer with this. Do you understand? Everything can be happy and jolly, but you will still have the anxiety because it's a gene that's being passed on to you, and there's nothing you can do apart from learn to live with it. Too many people waste their time thinking, well, why am I like this? Why am I like that? If you've gone down every path, you know, medical path and everything else, and nothing's helped you, yet in your mind, you know, you've asked that one relative who said, oh yeah, when I was, you know, I used to suffer with that, but I take my medication now and I deal with it. If that relative is in direct line to you, blood-wise, that's where you get it from. So once you find that out, you need to stop asking questions. Stop asking questions as to why you suffer with anxiety and deal with the anxiety. Yeah. Know the enemy within you.
Factors and challenging life experiences. All anxiety disorders have irrational and excessive fears, apprehensive and tense feelings, and difficulty managing daily tasks. Other symptoms
I love the way he says that, as though it's like sort of, well, you know, you'll have difficulty managing this, and you know, it's crippling for people. It's absolutely crippling. So please, you know, this simplistic video is stupid. Let's see what the other symptoms are going to be then.
Anxious thoughts, predictions and beliefs, avoidance of feared situations, subtle avoidances, such as talking more when anxious to distract oneself, safety behaviors, like having a cell phone on hand for help, and physiological responses, such as increased heart rate.
I want to talk about...
There are many...
shut up. I want to talk about the physical responses. Now, they can go from anything to being dizzy, lightheaded, jelly legs, weak, a choking feeling in your throat, pain, forgetfulness, crying a lot, phones ringing unexpectedly. Excuse me, please.
Generalized
you know, learning
anxiety disorder, which is one of the most common types of anxiety disorder in older adults. It affects 2 to 5% of the population, with more women affected than men. Over an individual's lifetime, chances of developing generalized anxiety disorder are as high as 9%. With respect to ethnicity, people with European descent are more likely to be affected than people of non-European descent.
Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think us in Europe? Yeah, our lifestyle, do you think? Our DNA, our actual physical structure. the stress and the strain of what's put on us women and men, and men. But the physical symptoms, can be harrowing and will literally stop you in your tracks. But the way to go is this, Number one, try to recognize what triggers the anxiety. Then try to recognize what stops the anxiety. Yes, that's 1, 2. Number 3, if neither of 1 or 2 work, go to see your GP. Explain to your GP, and it's here where you have to make the decision. Accept medication or don't. Personally, I'd accept it. It's up to you. Number 4, after being on medication, so I'm taking that, people have accepted the medication. After being on the medication for 4 weeks, if you start to feel better, and then a few, say, 3 months in, it comes back, you may be one of the people who have got it biologically. And that's when you have to learn how to cope, deal with it on a day-to-day basis. There probably won't be a trigger for it. It'll happen out of nowhere, and it will also cause depression if you don't get on top of it quickly. So this is just a little video about it, because sometimes I get sick of people not explaining it properly to people.
And anxiety disorders occur more frequently in developed countries than non-developed countries. Generalized anxiety disorder is characterized by excessive, uncontrollable worry about everyday things, including social situations. This excessive worry occurs for at least 6 months and often interferes with one's daily life. This worrying can be manifested in physical symptoms, including restlessness.
Please take no notice of the 6-month timeline, okay? As I've said, it can last up to a week or 2 weeks and go away forever and you never get it again. It can last up to 6 months and you get treatment and it goes away and you'll never get it again. Or if you're unfortunate and you've got the sort that goes with the biological side of you, you'll have it for your lifetime. But that's not to sit and cry about it. Don't cry about it. There are ways of getting better so that you can cope on a day-to-day basis with life. There's also tricks and things you do to get rid of things in your life that energy drainers, or make you worry, or just simple, even if it's friends, and you notice there's a change in you when a friend walks in the room, not a good change, a change where you think, oh God, I'm going to have to put up with him or her now, and they literally drain you with their problems. You've got to get rid of that person, and I mean literally cut them out of your life. So him and his 6 months, you can have it for up to 6 months, and it may go away, but then it may not. Do you understand? I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm so tired and I can't concentrate. That's true. What about all the other physical feelings now? Interesting.
Fatigue, irritability, muscle tension, and difficulty concentrating and sleeping. The severity of the generalized anxiety disorder can vary, with those having the mild to moderate form being able to function socially with treatment, and those who have the severe general anxiety disorder finding it difficult to perform simple daily tasks.
Exactly.
Although anxiety can be daunting, there are many ways to cope with it. First and foremost, it is important to realize that you can't control everything. You must avoid placing pressure on yourself to be perfect in everything you do.
Now, this I agree with, you know, but I wouldn't put that one first. You can't control everything. I wouldn't put that first. I'd put this one first. Avoid pressurizing yourself to be perfect. I would put that first, because you have to avoid that I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Oh, they're going out for dinner tonight. I want to go, but my anxiety won't let me. Oh, I should. No, you shouldn't. You do what's best for you. And second, I would put that you can't control everything. Once you get to grips with these two, that you can't control everything and avoiding pressurizing yourself to be perfect, life becomes a lot more easier, because in this bit here, avoiding pressurizing yourself, that's where you get rid of the people that drain you of your energy, that can literally, make you feel anxious with the mere presence of them. I'm sure you've got a few. Them who you see walking up your path and you think, oh God, no, and all they do is sit and talk about them. Yeah, you know the sort of people I mean. They're the ones you need to get rid of. And then of course there's this one, you can't control everything. That's very true also, so you need to get to grips with them.
2. Additionally, try replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. Most importantly, identify what triggers your anxiety and focus on tackling this issue. A helpful tip you can do is by writing in a journal when feeling anxious, and then looking back.
Okay. Now this is what this is part of CBT, right? So yes, the writing in the journal's all well and good. Yeah, it's all fantastic. But when you're in the grips of anxiety day after day after day after day after day, writing in the journal doesn't quite kick it, yeah? So my advice is this: write down how you feel day to day, yeah? And just keep writing. Don't bother reading what you wrote the day before. Keep writing it for 3 months. And then after 3 months, go back to the first day you started and see what's changed in how you feel. Don't be monitoring the journal all the time. It will only make you feel worse. Wait for 3 months.
Back on your journal entries to identify a pattern. There are some small lifestyle changes you can enforce to help cope with anxiety. These include exercising daily, getting at least 8 hours of sleep per night, eating a well-balanced meal 3 times a day, and limiting alcohol and caffeine.
Okay, right, exercising daily. That won't help. Okay. Getting 8 hours sleep won't help. And what was the third one? 3 meals a day won't help. So you completely ignore all that because it won't help. Yeah? That's all I've got to say on that. It will not help you.
To cope with an immediate panic attack, it can be helpful to relax your muscles and focusing on slowing your breathing by taking deep and slow breaths. Take control of your thoughts and remind yourself of the times you had overcome your anxiety.
No, that's very good. Yeah, that is good. I'm going to go back. Right, relax the muscles. So what you need to learn, yeah, is meditation. And it does work. Meditation works. Now, I can do a meditation video if anyone's interested, but I don't want to waste my time if no one's going to be watching it. Yeah. So, but if you're interested in a meditation video, a down-to-earth meditation video that doesn't expect miracles from you in, say, 5 minutes, let me know and I'll do one. Focusing on the breathing, that's also good, and taking control of your thoughts. That's the hardest one. That is the hardest one. Yeah. It can be done, but it's hard. It's very difficult when you're in the throes of anxiety. But it can be done. And if you're interested in any of this, I can make videos on each one of these separate issues. So, just put a 1 underneath in the comments of this video, and I shall do it.
You had overcome your anxiety. Although they're helpful, these tips are often not enough. Do not be afraid to seek professional help via a psychiatrist, therapist, counselor, and among other mental health professionals. Here are links to some resources that can
It's
connect
in America, so we should take no notice of that. But yeah, like I said earlier, go to see the doctor, psychiatrists. You know, psychiatrists are funny ones because they centre more on changing medication than they do with dealing on changing medication and tagging you with a mental illness. They centre more. A psychologist is the best one, yeah. But I think you're your best psychologist. You know yourself, yeah. And there's nothing better than understanding your own body, or how the mind works, and things like that. Once you understand it and you're able to deal with it, I would advise that you get a book of Audible, you know, or of Kindle or whatever, by Dr. Claire Weeks. Yeah, that's Dr. Claire Weeks, Weeks. Get her book if you're suffering, and she will definitely help you. This woman was my mentor. This woman helped me get where I am today. She was my mentor. I followed her around. I can't say enough about her. But if you are suffering with long-term chronic anxiety, don't give up yet. What you need to do is understand it, understand the anxiety, and don't call it your friend, which is the new term they use today. It's your enemy, yeah. And we're not always scared of enemies, are we? So you don't look upon it as something to be fearful of. Just know it's the enemy within, and you need to beat it. Now, if you're interested in anything else to do with anxiety, I will be doing videos on depression and other things. But if you're truly interested in anything to do with anxiety disorders, just stick a 1 in the box underneath the video, yeah. It's like today, when I did the first part of this video, it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've come to do the second part and it's 10 o'clock at night, because obviously things happen, and I had to help a few people. But this is what I'm saying: you can't judge for what's going to go on in your life. Therefore, you can't be in control constantly. And once you let loose of that feeling that you have to be in control, you don't. But it's not as simplistic as this video makes out. Every step is hard, and you take baby steps. And you'll have good days, you'll have bad days, you'll have washed out days, you'll have days you won't even be able to bloody remember. But the fact is, you'll still be here, and you'll still be battling on, and that's what's important. So if you're interested, please let me know. You could also email me at, I can't remember my own bloody email, the one I use. Here we go. Email me at wendypartridge405@gmail.com. So that's wendypartridge405@gmail.com. Yeah. So if you want to email me privately there, of course you can. So, you know, stay strong if you're suffering, and never give in, because there's always an answer. Okay, bye bye.